Welcome back from your Do Now. I hope it wasn't too challenging. It was more like a puzzle. In our first problem today, I'm going to show you how we're going to find the area of right triangles today, although you might have already figured it out from our Do Now. Let's go ahead and look at it. Make sure you're taking notes on your Google Docs while you're watching this video, or you can write it on paper. Anything is fine. Selena has a rectangular plot of land that is 3 yards by 2 yards. She wants to create a garden in the shape of a right triangle. Okay, I see that right here. Selena drew a sketch of the plot of the land and the triangular garden she wants to make below. How big in square yards will her garden be? Now, how do I know that I'm looking for area? What was my hint? Well, I saw square yards. When do I use square units? Only when I'm talking about area. So how am I going to find this space, what I'm shading in right here, of this triangle? Well, they gave me a little hint. Just like in your Do Now, you can see that there is a rectangle drawn around this right triangle. You can see that the triangle is right here, and basically you can see that it is cut right in half. Do you see that? That this triangle is half of this whole rectangle? So we're going to find the half of the area of the rectangle. So what would be the area of this rectangle? Well, I learned that the area of a rectangle is length times width. So I would do 3 times 2. That way I would get this full rectangle, that's 6 boxes. But I want half of that. So how do I find half of something? Well, I either multiply it by 1/2 or I divide it by 2. I'm going to divide it by 2 to get an answer of, 3 times 2 is 6. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So my answer is 3 yards squared. Now you're not always going to do this. There's actually a formula that comes from this very thing that we just did. So we're not going to use length and width because a triangle doesn't really have a length and a width. What it does have though is a base and a height. The base is usually going to be the horizontal side, and the height is going to be the vertical side. It's always the two sides that make a right angle. So it was base times height divided by 2. That's what we're going to do every single time. Another way to write it is area equals base times height times 1/2. Because 1/2 of that rectangle, right? That's why we split it in half. That's why we divided it by 2. You can use this formula or this formula. They're actually the exact same thing. So let's go ahead and practice using this formula with one more problem, and then you're going to try to do it by yourself. What is the area of the triangle below? Well, I know that area equals base times height divided by 2. Now I'm looking here. I want to find my base and my height. Well, my base is usually going to be my horizontal line. And my height is the other side that makes a right angle. Remember, you're always looking for this right angle right here. This is really important. This will be my height. Do I care about what this though usually the longest side, do I really care about that? No, because remember, we're doing a rectangle and the middle side doesn't really matter. I need the two sides of that outer rectangle, which is always going to be the two sides with the right angle. Remember, that means 90 degrees angle. All right, easy enough. Now let's do the math. So it'll be 15 times 8 divided by 2. 15 times 8. A lot of you, maybe you can do this mental math. Good for you. I'm going to add it up real quick because it's actually faster for me. So 120 divided by 2. Ooh, I know what 12 divided by 2 is. That is 6. Add my power of 10. the area should be 60 feet squared. Don't forget about your units. So what is your formula again? Area equals base times height divided by 2. Now you're going to go ahead and practice this on your own. I'll be looking for your work, and good luck on your exit ticket.